See, I could have done my whole Jesse Jackson rhyming thing, but this just in. Sequester disaster is done. Not only is the EPA now looking to lay off a lot fewer folks than the agency first promised, but the economy itself is doing a whole lot better than the doom and gloomers at the White House, all but guaranteed. Because despite all of these cuts, let me cut to the chase. We spend dozens of dollars on our special artwork here. Home sales are booming, home prices are zooming, and Washington, D.C. is still hiring. To Charles Payne on something's up, and Chuck, it's more than just consumer confidence, huh?
If this is what the end of the world looks like, sign everybody up. If this is what 2%, the 2% cut in federal spending, if this is what it looks like, how about 4%? I mean, listen.
Yeah, and 2%, by the way, off the increase.
Off the increase, right. We didn't cut. We just slowed the rate of increase. 300,000 jobs created since March 1st, and not counting this month, just the first 2 months since then. 40,000 jobs in Washington, D.C., where the unemployment level is 5.3%. The average person watching this, their existing home was $173,000 in February. It's $192,000 right now.
Is that right?
The stock market's up 9%. What part of this sequestration has crushed the American economy?
Well, you haven't heard the latest that it's going to kick in, but a little later than they thought.
I know. Whenever it's bad, it's going to be convenient. Whenever it's
but
good,
they're between a rock and a hard place on this, because to bemoan the economy that they want to take credit for, which is fair game, you can't really bemoan sequestration.
Well, again, you know, you want to have your cake and eat it too, but speaking of being between a rock and a hard place, just overall, Neil, the idea of going on a public relations tour to tout disaster, to tout the idea that America, the greatest country in the world, we can't take a 2% hit. In the meantime, you're touting it to people, households who took a $1.3 trillion hit. $1.3 trillion, and you're going on a whistle-stop tour around the country telling these same people that have lost their house, hey, we can't handle a 2% cut. It's going to be the end of the world.
You know what I thought, though, too? Given all the scandals, without getting the details of all of them, it might be freezing people's perception of big government, period, right? For good or ill, people are going to think ill of it, and they're not going to be that supportive of government getting bigger if this is what it does when it runs amok. I mean, the IRS and the justice, you know what I mean?
From the overspending to even, no matter what side of the scandals you happen to believe, if you think it's just incompetence and bumbling, then of course it's just too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
If you think it's something more nefarious, obviously it should be curtailed. Either way, I think the general perception is, hey, the government is way too big, way too powerful, and way too confused.
You know, well, you're here because you're one of the best market historians and economic historians I know. Everyone's whining about mortgage rates hitting a one-year high, highest we've seen in a year. Can we show what it is? 3.81%. And I told people, and they thought I was joking, that's what my wife and I paid per day with our first mortgage. Not really, but it was, you know, probably 13.5%.
Not too far off.
But here's where this spooks people, and that is, well, it is moving up from the mid-twos, and this is how it starts. What do you say?
Well, that's how it starts, but also, you know, there's another side to this argument, Neil, and that the idea is that when it kept going down, a lot of would-be home buyers said, hey, we'll wait.
We'll wait it out. So this is good for housing. It gets them off the fence.
And between these home prices going up and interest rates starting to tick up, a lot of people who are out there on the fence trying to pick the bottom, which is nuts, but people try that, they have a sense of urgency now. So if you really do want to become a homeowner, it might behoove you to make a move sooner.
Which would make this home comeback have more lasting value here. Right. It might not just be a head fake here.
Right. Well, you know what? The big deal with this home comeback, to be quite honest with you, most of it has nothing to do with Main Street. You know, first-time home buyers still in the 30% range for the last couple of years. It's been Wall Street mostly, and foreigners. I mean, it's amazing, but I think it's been brilliant on their part. Morgan Stanley announced just a couple of days ago they're going to open their 8th fund to invest in real estate. This time they're wooing Chinese investors.
Well, that doesn't take much since they're the ones who are investing, period, right?
Yeah.
Charles Payne, thank you very much. Thanks. He is as smart and scary as they get. Well, scary, but he is smart. All right, well, they still insist at the White House that they've done nothing illegal. But, you know, that does not mean they've done a whole lot wrong.